set, which isn't officially a part of the Origami line, even though it can interact with it. The DX Mogyudai-Oh set comes with two hidden discs, the Ushi disc and the Zen Samurai Gattai disc. For those of you who saw Choriki Sentai O-Ranger, or as it's known in the US, Power Rangers Zeo, you probably recognize that kanji right there. That's the kanji for king. It's pronounced O. This is the Ushi disc. This is the hidden disc that is used to control the Ushi, Origami, and Mogyudai-Oh. Again, the identifier for the Ironmaru is right down there. You just line it up with the little arrow down there. And when you attach this to the Shinken-Maru, you get this. How is it possible I did that 2 videos in a row? The sound of a monkey for a lobster. Whatever. So yes, that is the Ushi disc. Now this set also comes with the Zen Samurai Gattai disc, which is used to create the Samurai Hao. Now, it's still the king, the kanji symbol for king. Oh, it's still the same thing. And originally I thought it was supposed to be the king symbol in front of a mountain, you know, because the Ushi Origami was sealed underneath a mountain, you know. That's what I thought it was. But it turns out if you ignore these two outer things here, that is the symbol for Zen, which means all. So this is the Zen Samurai Gattai disc. And when you plug it into the Shinken-Maru, twice, really? You get this. And you'll notice, maybe you didn't notice, that the pattern of the energy blast spirals upwards on the Zen Samurai Gattai disc, as opposed to on the Ushi disc, where it spirals downwards. Now, the toy is not constrained in any particular fashion how you're supposed to do this, so technically you can do it either way, but officially, the Zen Samurai Gattai disc goes on the left wheel. Comes off, goes on easily enough. There's no latch, there's no clicky, anything like that. Big toy. And then the Ushi disc goes on the right side. Okay. Let's start reviewing. Ushi means oxen or bull. Mogyudai-Oh means wild bull, great king. I don't know. The only significant amount of panel detailing or whatever that you're going to see is either in the head, which, it's okay, or in the hooves. That's the only place you're going to find detail of any significance on this thing. Yeah, there's a little bit of texturing between these gold lines. Like, there's the gold, it's just kind of but then there's the texturing there. Really, you know, there's nothing really significant about this as far as detailing is concerned. The horns are made of PVC. And this thing is, for lack of a better word, massive. It's heavy. This thing's heavier than my cat was. May he rest in peace. Takes 2 C-size batteries, which you have to provide. Ooh, do not drop it. Wheels are free turning, which I already described. There's a reason why it has an extra set of wheels there and there, but we'll get to that. But the opposing side, which the left side does not have, has the... This doesn't have a weapon, from what I can tell. This doesn't have a name for it. It just is. Mogyudai-Oh mode, it doesn't have a name. But anyways, yeah. And that's it. Now, in case you're wondering what this... Oh, I'm going to drop it. This thing is heavy. Unfortunately, you cannot take it apart because you've got the oxen from here forward, and then you've got the geishi cart, I'm not sure how that is, back here, which an oxen would pull, but it's attached at the thighs, which are a single piece, by the way, and I'll get to it in a little bit more. So you always carry this as a single piece, and it is very, very heavy. Now, oh yeah, vacuum metallized missile launchers there, non-functional. Now, in case you're wondering what this, careful, watch your fingers, bar here is for, I mean, why this rather obvious robot kibble is even sitting up here, is it's supposed to resemble the, the hitch for an oxen, you know, the wood and metal hitch, and then you would have, you know, the ties and whatever it is between them. Now, obviously it's tied together with plastic here, which you can't separate, but that's what this is supposed to represent. Supposedly that's what this bar here is for. It's not there to make the thing stable. It's actually quite stable with the connection point down here, but yeah, that's what that's supposed to represent right there. So, just in case you're wondering. That can spin. The only posability on this entire toy is right there, and that's it. Now, the electronic feature for this toy is it can roll about like this. And just in case you missed it just then, each of the four legs has a single wheel on it, and when that single wheel rotates, the lower half of each leg bounces back and forth. This thing's a pain to hold on to. And you'll notice that the front leg, or the back, you'll notice this one leg here does not affect how, the legs do not affect each other. Same applies in backing. So they put all that time and effort into putting the wheels here, and then they molded fake wheels on the legs. I don't get that. And so that is it for the Ushi origami. Oh, it's heavy. Ooh, this is my new favorite one. Don't sit on it! If I recall correctly, this combination appeared only once in the TV series and was more of a throw-together, spur-of-the-moment kind of situation, as you just saw from the video clip I just showed you. But it is in the instructions, and the toy is designed to do it, so I am obligated to show it. However, because it only appeared that one time in the series, this combination, if you can really call it that, doesn't come with a name. However, because of past Super Sentai precedents, fans have a tendency to call this mode Riding Shinken-O. because of the oversimplified transformation process, where basically the Ushi origami just stands upright. I'm not even going to bother showing you the sides of this thing because, well, you've already seen them. It's a little disconcerting that the forehead and face are disconnected from the rest of the head, because, you know, you so obviously place a heat-end disc there, but, what are you going to do? Was it the Ushi origami, the symbol there for king, makes a return with vacuum metallized plastic once more. Nice big arms. And unfortunately the Ushi origami's hitch recreation just sticking awkwardly out the back there. While I'm in the area, I might as well. It's rather amusing that they were able to integrate some kind of a waist in there rather than just being a solid block. Oh, wait a minute, it is a solid block. Bottom of the feet do not have any detail. Back here, or down here, I suppose, it gets a little more interesting as far as the details is concerned. But again, nothing to really write home about. That is a hell of a belly button. And some more giant hooves. Posability is as follows. All the way around. But then you can also use this, plug it in right here, give it a nice big old Gatling cannon complete with ammo clip, which I lolled at. Then what you can do, you take the Ushi origami's disc off of there, you close up the head. The instructions say you're supposed to put this all the way down just so you can put that down. You don't have to. You really don't. Because then you have to go fish for it again to pull it out. I would suggest I'm going to drop it here. You don't have to pull this thing down. You can just tilt that forward a little bit, and it gives you plenty of space, okay? Open this up. And then the switch down here, rather than pushing forward, you're going to pull down. Careful, watch your fingers. Ooh, don't get your hair caught. And that is it for the Mogyu Dio by itself. As an established toy reviewer on CollectionDX.com, one of the questions that frequently gets thrown at me is it worth it? To me, that says a lot more about the person asking it than it does the person answering it, because is it worth it is a question of uncertainty. Now, obviously, as a toy reviewer, I can show you how things move about, how things function, what they look like, and the gimmicks and all kinds of things like that. I can show you all those things. And then, typically, at the end of the review, as I am doing right now, I will give you my 2 cents on the matter. But at the end of the day, I cannot justify if this is good enough for you or not. I can tell you if it's good enough for me, or not in some cases. But for the most part, at the end of the day, it's pretty much still up to you to decide whether it's worth it or not. Whether that's with the toy itself, how it functions in the TV series or movie, how the toy itself operates. I mean, it can be any number of qualification points that you will have listed out there and in your head and decide, you know, is this worth the amount of money you're putting into it? Is that worth the amount of money you're putting into it? And so, because I've been bugged about it near nonstop for the last 3 years, well, 2 years, the question must be applied to the DX Mogyu Dio. And so, let the question be asked. Is it worth it? No. Is it worth it? No. Is it worth it? No. Honestly, the only reason that you get this thing is so that you can make that thing. That's it. No questions asked. There is no other reason for you to get this thing. This is a $120 brick of ABS, little bit of PVC, a couple of decals, and that's it. It's a $120 brick. Literally, the only thing that moves on here, aside from, well, believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, that is the only transformation, really, that you do aside from setting it on its ass. And that's it. That is literally all that this toy does by itself. Oh, and the mouth, I forgot to close on the back. Oh, yeah, by the way, posability. The mouth. That's it. That's all this thing does. That's a gimmick. Why did they put these wheels on here when they're just going to mold the wheels in here? Why not just have the hooves cover the wheels, you know? Have the hooves cover both sides of the wheels. That way, yeah. I mean, the independent, this moving around, that's a fine gimmick. I have no problem with that. But it looks like crap. And by the way, why doesn't the entire leg move? Why doesn't the, let me turn a little bit here. Why doesn't this whole thing move here around the shoulder joint for Mogyu Dio? Why doesn't this spin independently? Why doesn't this fold away? Why don't these legs fold away in some sort of convincing manner? Look, if you want to put a mono leg on it, fine, whatever. I hate mono legs. I'm not thrilled with it, but yeah, at least they went to the effort of making it look like there's a split in the leg. You know, at least they did that. But it is not worth it for all of that. And certainly not things that it could have done that it didn't. I mean, honestly, they invested more money into the 2 motors that this toy has than they did into the actual toy itself. Wait, huh, what? 2 motors? Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this toy has 2 motors involved in it. It's got the one down here that drives everything, which has its own independent on-off switch right there. It's got that motor, and then it has another one buried inside of the torso to control nothing but this. That is the only thing that this motor deals with. This motor turns all the time. The one down there can be turned on and off depending on which switch you move. Now, I find that kind of hilarious and enraging at the same time because I have 2 other motorized deluxe Super Sentai toys. Each of them has only 1 motor, and they do way the hell more with just that 1 motor than this thing does with 2 motors. 2 motors? This thing came out in 2009. My Deluxe Titanus Carrier Zord came out in 1993, and it's faster than this thing. Yeah, this has to haul a hell of a lot more weight. Vast majority of it, by the way, is itself. And then it has to haul around the Gattai Shinken-O and the Ikatenku Buster. So, yeah, I can understand this having to haul around more weight, but then why the hell would you need a second motor just for this? What? Just, you know, throw a clutch on this like you did with Titanus and with the Revolver Mammoth and call it good. And yes, by the way, the Revolver Mammoth had a hell of a lot more interesting rotating gimmick than this thing does. What's the gimmick on this? Ooh, crash. That's the gimmick. Right there. That thing turns right there. Gotta make sure this is turned off. Pulled out. Oh, that's it? That's your big gimmick? You couldn't have had some sort of gears running through at least the right arm here so that this thing would turn at the same time? And by the way, this is not a gimmick. This is tied into that thing over there later on. So it's kind of hilarious that it turns, has machine gun barrels in it, and has a huge clip on the side. Like, I love that. Doesn't really look like a machine gun, though. They could have beefed this up a little bit. But, yeah. I mean, it's just... this toy does absolutely nothing by itself. To the completists, I would say, give yourself pause. This may not be worth it. And I cannot stress this enough, This is a $120 brick. $120. And by the way, the biggest reason why I finally got this thing is because it was on sale for 70% off at HobbyLink Japan. That is the only reason why I got this thing. And you want to know what the ironic part of that whole situation is? The shipping and handling cost more than the toy on discount did. The toy was $60, $70, something like that. Shipping and handling was like 80 or 90. I'm not kidding. It was ridiculous. So, yeah, I mean, I was not going to pay $200, $250 for this thing. Not worth it. Even if I'm going to make that thing, still not worth that price. Now, if this had had only one motor in it and was about a third shorter than it actually ended up being, it would have been $90, maybe $100, okay? That would have been acceptable. But $120 does not get you a hell hole of a lot here. Do not get this for itself, okay? I really can't say much more beyond that. Look, folks, it's Bandai quality, okay? Nothing here is going to break unless you drop it from the shelf. It's going to take scratches, dings, and bangs. The joints are nice and tight. Bandai standard. There's a reason why Bandai is one of, if not the biggest, toy manufacturer in all of Japan. There is a reason for this, okay? And really, I'm laying a lot of the blame on the toy design firm Plex. I lay a lot of this at their feet. But don't get this thing unless you absolutely have to, okay? Just don't, okay? Just don't get it, okay? It's really not worth it by itself. In regards to that thing, well, you're just going to have to see the next video review. And so, this is AB Unit 4A for CollectionDX.com, signing off.